We got all that stuff done. Now to the fun part. Woo! All right, so we're going to talk about Miss Danni Callentine. So Danni is such a great soul. I absolutely love working with her. And so she was in Lead Plus or something with me a little while ago, and then now has been working hard to rebuild her business. So she started in July 2017 and fast-tracked in her second month. She earned her first trip in 5 months to Amelia Island, and last year she earned Hawaii Elite. She promoted to advanced director in September of 2018, and then she lost it a year later. All right, but this is a comeback story. So she came back better and stronger than ever. She promoted four directors in September. Then she promoted to senior director on October 1st. So she just skipped over advanced director since she lost it once. She's like, nah, don't need that. I'm just going to skip right over it. And so her current structure is 5 first gen and 1 second gen. So sadly, she wasn't actually invited to be a part of Executive Bound because she didn't at that time have her first 3 gen leaders, and look at her now, like she's going to be qualifying this month. So she also just qualified for Disney Elite, which is super exciting. And of course, she's going for month 1 of executive. So I wanted to just show you some comparison numbers before she jumps in. So in January of 2018, her total org had sold $8,336. And last month, okay, a year and a half later, her team sold $77,000. Okay, like do the math. I'm going from 8,000 to 77,000. All right, and in the first year, the first half of 2018, her total org was only averaging 2 recruits every month. And in October, they recruited 73. Yeah, so I did do the math on that, Miss Danni. We were playing, I was teaching Danni some fun ways to do percentages on our last call. But my friend, that's a 355% increase, which is amazing. So whatever amazing things you think of Danni, you just go ahead and type them in the chat because she needs to know how cool she is. Yeah, I love it. So this last chart I think is really interesting. So in 2018, they had total sales of 237,632. And in 2019, not including anything in November yet, and of course December, they're already at 415,000, and their organization is expected to hit over $500,000. You guys, this is a team who sold $8,000 last January. They're going to be at $500,000, so it's super cool. That's 148% increase, and of course, this is because of all this great recruiting, right? In 2018, they recruited 58 for the whole year, and already they have 189, which is not including November, December, and that's already 132% increase. So, oops, we're not going to do Q&A. We're going to have her talk. So I'm going to stop the share so we can all see Danni's bright, smiling face, and have her come on and share, because we were kind of starting as a coaching call, and this coaching call quickly turned into an interview because I was like, oh, how are you doing that? Ooh, how are you doing that? Oh my gosh, you need to come share this with everybody. So go ahead, Danni, take it away, my dear.
So I figured I would start by kind of sharing why systems and like time management became important. And I'm gonna get emotional, you guys, like just having Kathy read those off, like I want to cry. Because when you said, sorry, this is awful.
It's okay.
I'm really emotional.
I'll be crying with you, Danni. You know, if you cry, I'm going to cry. So everybody just get ready to cry.
Oh, just tell me to suck it up, Kathy.
I just cried.
When you mentioned the energy bus, the being home does not mean being present. Like that hit me really hard, because when I was on the phone with Kathy the other day, we were discussing my summer and why systems became so important in my life, because over the summer, some of our summer businesses, they don't do so well, right? Well, mine had hit that this summer, and I experienced the worst. I say the worst. I had the worst 2 months in my career, even from the very first month I started in my business, as far as income wise. And that was hard for me. We had to pull my daughter out of daycare. We had to pull her from her speech therapy because we couldn't afford it, you guys. And that was really hard on me. So I realized that I needed to implement systems because this summer I had both my kids home. I couldn't work as much as I wanted to. And I was doing nothing but working, but it's because I had all that extra going on in the background with my kids that I didn't get that solid work time that I needed. And so after this summer, I was like, okay, this isn't working for me. I have to figure something out. I have to, because my team's growing. I need to be present for my business. I need to be present for their business and so much more. And so what I realized was when now both my kids are back in school, hallelujah. And I actually have like a Monday through Friday where I focus strictly on work. While they are in school, I am working. On the weekends, I am not working, you guys. I wake up at 5 a.m, Monday through Sunday. Like some Sundays I'm like, all right, I'm going to sleep until 7. But like I wake up every single morning and get work done before I have to get my kids ready for school. I take them to school, I come home, and I continue to work. When I bring them home, I am present with them. I put my phone down. I don't check in on my parties because the one thing I realized this summer was my kids were home and I was with them, but I wasn't with them. And they suffered. They suffered. And that was my fault. But I was doing everything possible to make that life for them. And I'm focusing on retiring my husband from his job because he works 6 days a week, you guys, and he's gone 10, 11 hours a day. And on Sundays, his only day off, my kids suffer because their dad is tired. And so everything that we're doing is for them, but they're suffering. So that doesn't make sense. So I told myself, I was like, I have to be more organized. I have to be more dedicated with my time and really focus. And so I came up with, and I can't take credit for all of it. I have reached out to other leaders and took bits and pieces of what they've done and molded it into something that's comfortable for me. And I think that's really important to hear because sometimes we just try to mimic what somebody else has done and we're like, why is it not working for me? Well, it's because we have to literally mold it into something that's authentic to you that feels comfortable, and then you're going to see success with it. And so I mean, just know that everything that I have and I'm going to show you, like, I did not do it by myself. I am not a guru. I'm not some magical systems and time management being. This is literally just 2 to 3 months of work and dedication and realizations in my head that something's got to give. So I have literally separated my business into personal systems, personal team systems, and so much more. So I guess I'll start out with sharing just like my trackers, what I do to stay organized with my parties, with my team page. I even do director bound stuff. I mean, I have a system for like everything now, you guys. So Kathy, I wasn't sure, do you want me to share my screen on the trackers or so I can explain them?
So first, would you mind first just telling, what I loved first was just kind of the format of your shows because, you know, I know everybody's that was like, I need to be commenting all the time and then I'm with my kids on the weekend and I'm really not with my kids. So can you kind of share the format of your show and then I think the tracker will really make sense then too.
Yeah. Okay. So I run my parties like Tuesday. So the party starts Tuesday and it ends Sunday. And I did that for a specific reason. And you guys are like, wait, I thought you said you freed up your weekends. Well, I did. So I have a system where I like create my Facebook parties on a Friday. I spend 3 days getting my hosts to get their people in it, invited, all the things. And then I have 2 days of extremely active, what I call pre-party. People don't even know it's pre-party because they're already partying and having fun. And those are like Tuesday and Wednesday are my days, are like my busiest days in my party where I'm interacting, building that rapport with my guests and building that connection. Now, every single day leading up to, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I have daily games, daily questions, like question and answer, things that I have to pretty much be on top of, but not all the time, you guys, like occasionally. I'm not always on my computer. And then on Saturdays and Sundays, it's more of the like, okay, here's the products, here's some recipes. Maybe there might be a few questions that I occasionally have to answer, like if somebody's struggling with ordering. But my weekends, I'm able to work from like 5 to 7 in the morning before my family wakes up. And then my parties can survive on their own during that day. And I might check in to see if like my host or somebody has messaged me that's something important in the evening when my kids go to bed. And then Sunday it ends, but I let everybody know that on Sunday evening, like I thank them for coming and let them know that I will announce the winner of the full party the next day when my host does her shopping. So the party ends on a Sunday, but I don't have to close anything. I don't have to do anything on that day. The next day, which is a Monday, and my kids are in school, I'm closing out the parties with my hosts. I'm finalizing everything in the computer. So I'm not working on the weekend, but I'm still working on the weekend, and I actually get to be present with my family. So it's like a win-win. You know, that like exciting email that you get when you're out to dinner on a date with your husband and you're like, I just got another order, making money on a date night. So I don't know, is that just me? I love it. But so I've done that in a way that I am now present with my kids, except for right now, my daughter's sick in the other room and she's watching TV. But but I'm actually able to be present with my family when I need it. So but yeah, and then I have a tracking system where it makes it easier to where I know who I've been engaging with, what, like, should I share my screen now, Kathy?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay, let me figure this out real quick. I have a Mac. If anybody is like super familiar with Mac and they'd like to like reach out to me and school me on Apple computers, I would love it. Because sharing my screens can be difficult some days. Can you guys see this?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, Rachel Hansen is an Apple Pro, Danny.
Oh.
You and Rachel are going to become best buddies, BFFs.
Drop that message in my inbox, please. I need all the help with Apple. Okay, so I've created a Google Sheet tracker where I used to be a pen and paper person where I would be writing stuff down, and then it just got crazy as my business started to explode. And I'm like, I don't have a filing system in place. I don't know how to keep track of all this. And the great thing about this is I can always just go back in. And so I have a master tracker where I just create a new tracker for every single party. And just recently I started doing block parties. So this is like an individual party tracker, and I have an actual block party tracker, which is completely different. Different but similar. So I can track all of the guests who join in a party. During my party, I do things like an early bird prize where they have to comment going. I can click this little box that tells me that they've done that. I do an $80 pre-party order gift. Like if they won a game, a prize, a raffle, anything like that, I'm coming here and do this, because at the end you're like, oh my gosh, now I have to go find who won what and then figure it all out. So I do all of this. I track when they place an order. I put the order total in here, so I'm not having to go back and forth between Consultant's Corner, seeing who ordered, how much they ordered, and so forth. I have a spot for parties booked if they've accepted my friend request, because as soon as they do that, I should be sending them a message. And this is where I'll have a specific day of the week where I'm like, okay, I've built that connection with people in a party. Now I feel like it's time to go send those friend requests. So I'll do my friend requests on a specific day, obviously not all at once, because we don't want to end up in that unspeakable name thing. But I don't even say it anymore. I'm like, Big Brother's out there watching. I'm going to say it and I'll end up in there. Yeah. So like say I do that on a Wednesday, I send all the friend requests. Well, Thursday morning when I wake up at 5 o'clock, I go in and I check to see who's accepted that friend request. Come down here and do my check marks. And then I'll go do my other task. And then I'll set aside some time later that day to be like, okay, now I need to go send those messages. And I'll come in here and I'll mark off who I've sent the message to, because we all know not everybody's going to accept our friend request at the same time. So the next morning I wake up and I do the same thing. I come in and be like, okay, who else has accepted my friend request? And then I have another list of people that I can send messages to. Now, if I haven't marked off the box that says party booked, then I know I need to go follow up with those people because they either didn't respond or the conversation went cold, or I need to just do something there to get that booking either now or in the future. And then I also, was that good on that part before I go into like the Google form part?
Yeah.
Okay. So I use Google Forms in all of my parties for something that I call a Friday raffle. And it's just a way for them to give me a little bit more information on a specific day, and it gets them entered into win a prize. And I'm very strategic in the words that I use when I ask them and the answers that they're giving me, and I'll share why. So I ask them specific questions. Are you interested in hosting your online party? Either heck yeah, no thank you, or maybe tell me more about what it entails. Instead of just a yes, no, maybe, this maybe gives me permission to reach out to them because it says, tell me more about what it entails. I ask them if they want to earn some extra money each month like I do. And once again, there's ways to ask them that kind of say, hey, you can reach out to me, or no, thank you. Like the no, thank you is basically like, nope, I'm good. But all three of these ones are like, yep, they want more information. I also ask them if their host joined Pampered Chef, if they would be willing to help their host kickstart a business with a booked party. This gives me a way to reach out to my host and be like, hey, you have 5 people that said they would totally be game to host a party for you. Have you ever thought of doing something like Pampered Chef? And then planning on placing an order. Obviously, we don't want to leave anybody behind. And if someone says yes at the end of the party, if they haven't ordered, we can reach out to our host and be like, hey, XYZ said they'd like to place an order. I noticed they haven't yet. Do you mind checking in with them and seeing if they're still interested in ordering? And then this one's new and I'm really excited about it. If you could have one item from your catalog, what would be the top item on your wish list? This is literally the perfect question for this month because they can get anything in the catalog for 60% off this month. And every month they can get something for 50% off. So why not have that question and have that be an incentive to book a party with them? So I have all of this on my Google Tracker because now during the day I can be in my computer, go in, put all their stuff in here. And at the end of the day, I'm not having to sort through anything on my tracker or my Google form and be like, okay, who's filled out what, who's in whose party, XYZ. It's all in this tracker. I go in there, it takes less than 5 minutes. I post my winner and I'm done. And I post it on an evening that obviously I'm saying I'm not working, but it's literally 5 minutes. I could be doing it while my kids are in the bath, finishing dinner, doing something, or even after they've gone to bed. So I'm not taking that time out of the day from my family.
There's something, Danny, we had something about, can you show
The end of the Google form.
the end of the Google form again? Thank you.
This one?
There, yeah.
And just so you guys know, I already asked this in advance. Danny is such a sweetheart. She's willing to share all of these documents. So you guys can give her a big round of applause right now.
Thank you, Danny.
Yeah, very, very grateful for that. Okay, go ahead, my dear.
Okay. Let's see. So that's like a lot to do with just like my personal business. It's kept me super organized. And then just kind of moving on to, I guess, a combination of personal business with personal team. I have my host coaching in a document. I know Kathy is like a fellow lover of this app. It's called OneNote. And I am able to separate my days, what I'm saying, who I'm saying it to, how I'm saying it. So, and the reason I say it's for my personal and for my personal team, I share this with my team because it has lessened the amount of messages I get on what day am I supposed to do this? Who should I reach out to? How should I reach out to them? XYZ. Because in my host coaching, I not only have what I'm sending to my hosts, but I'm also, and I got this idea, and this cannot be my idea. I got this from Steve Drapolsky. Like, he is brilliant, and he gave me the idea to do consultant notes. Like, on this day, this is what the consultant's doing. This is what you're sending the host. And also, this idea was from Becca Yon, putting the recruiting seed right in the host coaching. So even for brand new consultants, they have a step-by-step of, this is what I should be doing this day. This is what I'm sending my hosts. This is the day that I should mention to the host the first time on, have you ever thought of doing something like Pampered Chef? So it's day by day, and it has everything in here. I won't go into too much depth. I feel like we all kind of know like host coaching day by day. But this is just something that has been super helpful for me and my team, because now it's not a whole spiel of training on host coaching, I can be like, this is the host coaching, follow it to a T until you're comfortable with it, and then you can form it into whatever's more comfortable for you as you go forth, because we all know we want to be authentic. And then, were there any questions on that real quick? I know we're going to have questions at the end, but I want to make sure I'm not going too fast.
I think it's good.
Okay. And then I'm going to stop the share real quick and talk about like my team. So with our team, how rapidly we've been growing, it's been a struggle getting everybody on the same page and having enough information to everybody all at once without doing like weekly new consultant calls, weekly Zoom calls, and constantly being on my computer or on my phone. And so what I've started to do is I literally, just like we have templates for our parties, I have a team page template that runs. I run it through my business page, like I have my business attached to my team page, and I run it through Post My Party. I have 1 or 2 posts each day, and the content is something that I want the team to have value in. So like this week, for example, we are doing a team page booking blitz straight out of our team page. So Sunday I prepared them with, here's like, write down 20 people's names. Like it's like basically creating a homework page, like write down the person in your contact list that starts with D or so forth. And I said, be prepared that each day this week, we will have 1 booking tip per day and booking idea that will help you fill your calendars, not just for November and December, but will also fill your calendar strong for January. So it's the beginning of November, but I'm preparing my team for a strong end of year and a strong beginning of year. And so I'm doing those 1 to 2 daily posts, but I'm only creating those posts maybe 3 or 4 days in advance, because if I create a template 30 days in advance, I'm going to think of something 20 days later that I'm like, oh, I should have said this, or I want to say this. So I do it 3 to 4 days, and it's very in the moment and has a little bit more to do with what you're focused on. And I have found that super helpful. And the thing that I found about that is I'm also spending less time in my Facebook Messenger, because there are less questions being asked individually, and they're all being filtered to the team page, and it's a team effort, and everyone, it's built a culture in our team where you don't feel like you have to go to one specific person for an answer. You can post it in the team page, and so many people are on top of it, giving ideas, saying, oh, well, I know this person knows more about this, how about, and then tag them, and then they're filtered to the right person instead of being overwhelmed as a leader with because I mean, I was a lone director in August again, and now we have 6. I had to recount. We have 6 directors now, but they're also stronger because of it. Like, I just feel like it's just built such a strong leadership example of how you don't have to do it all by yourself. So that, yeah. And now that we're building strong leaders, it's also helping the onboarding, because not only is the onboarding also basically implemented in our team page, but I love Zoom. Like, if you guys follow me on Facebook, I brag about it all the time. I'm like, nope, you're not going to call me. I want to get on a computer and I want to look you in the face. And it's just so much more personal, and people build that connection with you a little more. And so that's how I onboard my new consultants. Last month was a little bit tricky with all the new people, but we're getting back to a system where in September, we did weekly trainings, and each training was a specific topic. And it was a little bit more work for me because we didn't have as many leaders, but now this month we're implementing it again. And each week, like this week, we're having a bookings training. It's going to be every Thursday night, 30 minutes to 45 minutes. And I'm going to have 1 or 2 of my leaders also join in on that. And we're all going to train everybody all at once. And then the following week, we might do host coaching. The week after that, we might do systems and time management. But it's going to be a continued system every single month, every single week, because people, it's like a one-time thing. It's less work, more work in the now, but less work in the long run, because people, it's just, yeah. Because last month, everybody actually was like, what happened to our weekly like trainings? And I'm like, oh, you guys did like that. They're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, so I guess we'll continue to do that. So I've just built these systems that I guess people like. So I'm really enjoying it. So
which is why she's on this call right now. All right, go ahead.
And then as far as, I just wanted to kind of touch on like building that desire and like that team culture. The building that team culture has actually built the desire in our team to become an up and coming leader, because sometimes they haven't seen the struggle in the background that I've been struggling with as a leader, but I'm very raw with my team. I do tell them my struggles to a specific point. I don't want to be like, oh my gosh, don't be a leader, this is crazy. Because there were moments that I felt like that. But now like these systems and time management things that I've put into place have just like freed up so much of my time. And sometimes I'm sitting there and I'm like, I feel like I should be doing something, but I think I might have some time to like go watch Desperate Housewives for an hour. But it's, it has seriously freed up my time so much, you guys. And not feeling stressed all the time, and then having enough time for like extra things. Like, it's been something that I'm just like, I want to shout this from the rooftops. Like, be intentional with your time and set boundaries. I was telling Kathy, as of June, I have not once turned my phone on. Like, it's always on vibrate. It has been on vibrate since June. I have not once turned it on, because when you hear that ding in the background, you're like, oh, well, I should probably check that. Or, oh, that's my Facebook Messenger. Or, oh, that's my email. Or like, it's like in your head, you're like, I need to check that right now. But now I'm like, it can wait. I need to finish what I'm doing now, because then you'll just get sucked into a rabbit hole of Facebook messages.
And Danny, can you talk about that a little bit? Because you were talking about how you're blocking like time, that you're like, now I'm checking messages, then I'm doing this, which it kind of follows like how you did your host coaching. You had something you did every day of the week. But as far as actually doing the activities of checking the messages, like pretty much every day when you get up, you know what you're going to be doing that. Like, you know, do you guys ever wake up and go, well, what should I do first today? But instead, all you really need to do when you implement systems like this is say, okay, what day of the week is it? And then you know what to do. So speak to that just a little bit.
Yeah, so just like in my host coaching template, so like if my parties start on Tuesday, Wednesday, and I have super active pre-party, by like Wednesday evening, I'm like, okay, I've built the relationship enough. So I know that like Wednesday-ish is the day I start sending some friend requests and getting them into my Facebook. And then by Thursday morning, I know Thursday mornings when I wake up, I'm sending those messages. And then just like I said, like every morning I'm checking to see who has accepted the friend request, and then I mark them off. And then maybe an hour later is the set time that I have to check my messages. And then I stop. And then even if you send all of your booking messages, you don't want to get sucked into all those conversations all at once. Because if you send 10 to 15 and 5 respond, and then you start these conversations, you'll get sucked into messages for the next hour or two. So you can send the message, and even if they respond, you don't have to pick your phone up and answer it right then and there. It's a Facebook message, you guys. They're in your inbox. You can check in. They could be just responding at a free time at work. They will maybe put you on their counter until after they get off work. You can do the same, because we have a business. Like, people need to realize that this is a business. We should set office hours. We should set tasks. If you don't have a to-do list every day at work, like I'll say my in-laws, they, this is awful. I'm glad they'll never see this recording. They are awful owners. They don't give their employees tasks to do, and then they complain when nothing gets done. And I'm like, well, you got to tell them what to do. They don't have a list of things they need to do, and they can't check them off. Well, I check off my list. I have specific days where I do specific tasks, but I also have, like, it's become habit for me, so I know in my brain, but I also have, I showed Kathy this as well, all these tiny little notebooks all over the place that I write every morning, like, okay, this is what I need to do today. I've done it today too. I have a list of all the things that I'm doing today, and I'm crossing them off as I'm doing them, even down to like eating my lunch. Like, you have to block it out, or not everything's going to get done. And if everything doesn't get crossed off your list in a day, it's not the end of the world. Move it to tomorrow, but you procrastinated on purpose and you prioritized. So
yeah,
does that cover it?
I love it. I love it. Okay. No, that's really good. So do you want to talk just a little bit about your developing director? I loved your tracker for that.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
awesome.
let me share my screen real quick. So as far as developing directors, I have found that I do love to check in with my people occasionally, and this keeps me on track more, because instead of having to hound, I say hound, like, send me your new parties. Have you gotten any new parties? Have you gotten any new recruit leads? Have you gotten this? Have you gotten that? This is one place where I create, so this is my master. I have 15 people in Director Bound. They all have their own tracker that I have created, and I send to them, and we can share it. So when they update their information, I can see it on my end, and I can edit it, they can edit it, and so forth. And so I have them put all of their host names for the month, and if they get a new one, great, they can go and plug it in. The next time I sign in, I can see that they've added that person. And we don't have to be in constant communication, but of course we want to be in communication occasionally, not every single day probably. But and then I have them do their party start date, what day the party closes. That way I know which day, like, hey, did you ask them the third ask, like, has their I see their party has hit $300 in sales. What did they say about the $25 kit credit? So I have them put their unsubmitted sales, because that's something we can't see as leaders. And then I also have a system down here where it automatically updates their numbers. I literally have a video that I send that goes over all this. It's like a 2-minute video, and I literally tell them, do not touch these numbers. They update on their own. Don't touch them. If you touch them, it'll mess everything up.
Yeah.
So it updates on its own. And then I also have a spot over here where they can put down their recruits. They know they need 5. As soon as they hit 150, this spot's just fun for them. They can click that they're green, and they have X amount of people that need to be green still. And then also when they put their sales in for their team members, it comes down here into the red spot, and it minuses it from all of the 5,000 that they need. And it shows them, okay, I'm only 1,200 away, and I know I have 4 more parties on the books, and they are also being coached to be in touch with their people and be on top of their schedules, because we're building future leaders. So we just have them doing all those things. But I also down below track their asks. When they put their host names up here, it automatically copies and pastes down here. And you can switch these up. These are just the asks that the generic one that like Claudia Bazar came up with way before I was even in Pampered Chef. Like, ask the host before the party, ask them when their party's super active and their friends love Pampered Chef. When they hit a sales credit, ask them again. When they do the Google survey form and they have 5 people who want to host a party, ask them again. Like, and then they're writing down what each answer is, because then I can be like, oh, they said no, they don't really have any time. Send me the screenshot and I'll help you with words. And this is what I'm doing. So I will be completely honest, not everybody is super excited about this Google tracker as I am in my Director Bound, but the people who are, and the people who are determined, are the ones who have promoted, you guys. Every single person on my leaderboard right now, this was their golden ticket. And they even now, they're like, can you send me a blank one? I just want to keep myself accountable. So my leaders are still using this in their current business for themselves. And I'm like, all right, they like it too. Got it.
No, it's awesome. And I love that the unsubmitted sales go into the formula so they can actually see right where they're at. I mean, it's just so smart, so smart. So I know we're like out of time. So I know if you guys have to go, I totally get it. I respect your time. You can listen to the recording, but just one little piece I wanted her to, Danny, to finish with is just with all of these new consultants, kind of what she's done with onboarding them, because literally she's made this so simple that they can read this information and they can be a successful consultant. So that was really, really impressive. So can you share that, Danny?
Yeah, so I do similar as far as the fast track success system where you do the calls. I will be honest, I do one phone call, but I do a Zoom call. And I'm face to face with my people, and I do the basics. I focus mainly on getting them to book their schedule. But I have created, now that I have to share my screen again, hold on. I have created a new consultant document that sits, sorry, my internet's super slow. I should have had this up on my screen. I totally forgot about it. I'm sorry.
No worries. No worries.
So in my team page, I have a new consultant document that is at the very top of our page. It's pinned up there. It's in the announcements. So I go over all these systems and everything, but having a document that has everything accessible at the top of our page has been just amazing, because now you don't have to tag them in host coaching and then tag them in party templates and all this stuff. I have one document and everything's in it. I have a step-by-step of go into Consultants Corner, do your first 1 to 10 dash trainings. This is how you create your business page. Step 3, book 3 or 4 parties. But I have everything in this one document where they can see a video. I created a video, I know Dash has this, but how to set up your first party in Consultants Corner. I have a step-by-step of here's what it looks like to set up a business page. So they're not constantly messaging you being like, well, this is what my screen looks like. What am I supposed to do next? I have my host coaching template, one-click accessible. I do post my party. I have given them, due to recent Facebook changes, we are not sharing templates anymore, but they have my 2 September and October templates that they can use as a skeleton. And I tell them, create your own authentic material, but use this as a guideline. These are successful parties. This is how a successful party will look. Go in, change up the photos, change up the products, the games, add your personal information, obviously, and so forth. I show how to set up a Google form, and I give them my Google form to go from. And then I just have extra resources. I have scripts for bookings, how to overcome booking objections. I'm really huge on the social media presence on Facebook, so I've given my people tips and tricks on social media. And if we have special trainings that we record, like there's tons of stuff on here, you guys, but then I have special trainings down here that I've uploaded to YouTube, and if they want to watch it, they can just click on here and watch it. And everybody is tagging their people in this post at the top of our team page, which prevents people from having all those inbox notifications of like, I can't find this, where do I find this? It's all in one place, and they don't have to go searching for it. So that has been something that's been so great to me. And I share this on every single new consultant call. I'm like, if this was an overwhelming call, I totally understand. I probably just dropped a ton of information on you, but all of this is also at the top of our team page. Go to that. And if you see something and you still have questions, come back and I'm here for that. And then I check in with them again and be like, how many parties have you booked? And just go from there with the new consultant training.
Yeah. And what I love is this develops like self-sufficient consultants, which then leads to self-sufficient leaders, right? Mm-hmm. So starting, your new consultant strong means that it's going to lead to these strong leaders, which it was so funny because when I asked Danni, I'm like, are you like a systems guru? And she's like laughing at me. She's like, no way. So you guys, like, you can do this, right? Because Danni was like, okay, if I can do this, anybody can do this. She's only been implementing this like the last, 3 months, Danni? All of these systems, and look at what happened. Like her team blew up. So you guys know this is a business of duplication, and this is what she's done really well and figured this out. So I know you may have a couple of questions. We'll go for a few more minutes. And again, if you have to jump up off, I respect that, but go ahead and type in the chat. If you want to just unmute and say, okay, hey, Danni, it's Krista, and say your question, just jump in. So first of all, thank you so much. Yes, Danni. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but Jean's over there taking pictures of all the.
I'm like, holy crap! She's a savant.
I know. It's like I said, wait until you see these systems. Let me tell you. It's amazing.
Savant.
Yeah, savant. Have you ever been called a savant, Danni?
Oh my God.
I have not.
God.
All right, we'll stop talking. So you guys ask your,
on the call going, oh my God.
Yeah. So, okay, so questions for Danni, comments. You can put it in the chat. You can jump right in. You guys, this is it. Like, don't be afraid to ask any question. Like, wait, how did you do that? Or how'd you do this? Or
yeah, could you come over to my house? And
Danni for hire. Don't give her any ideas.
Hey, if I were them, I would pay for your airline ticket. Are you kidding me?
All right.
Yeah.
All right. No questions? Any in the chat?
No questions. I got this down. I'm so impressed.
I have one question.
Yes. Go ahead, Yvonne.
Yeah. For the developing director tracker, did you say that you do that in OneNote? Is that what you said?
The developing director tracker, that's actually Google Sheets.
Google Sheets.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And then I know this is probably like a dumb question, but how the heck does it just like update on its own? I'm just trying to figure that out.
So I implemented actual like algorithms into it, because you can format it to where it has like, you can put in equations where
Yeah.
you say
It's like
F2
So-
adds to F3 or so forth. But I did give that tracker to Kathy, and I'm totally willing, like I have it to where it's viewable. So all you have to do is click it, click make a copy, and then it's yours. I'm totally willing to share that.
That is so sweet.
Yeah, thank you for doing that, Danny.
Thanks so much, gal. Working it. Very proud of you. Very proud.
Yeah. Miss Yvonne, she's getting very close to
Yeah.
executive too, Yvonne.
Danny, this is Jean. In terms of the last document where you have all your resources and you put that on Facebook as an announcement at the top, how long did that take you to pull that together? Ish.
Maybe a matter of an afternoon just organizing it, because I had all of those things before, but they were in the unit section of my team page, but I hated that they were just all over the place. And you know, recently, like when you just go to Tag Town in Facebook, you risk being sent in the slammer. And so when you have to tag someone 10 different times in 10 different places, it's like, that's not ideal. So it's just one place. So I just kind of pulled it all together, deleted the units, and now it's just in one spot.
Yeah.
So smart.
Yeah, I know you guys are so resourceful. Seriously, like we hear about some of these issues and we're like, oh shoot, how would we do that? And you guys have just figured out a way to make all of this happen. So that was really, really smart. So
That's my commission check. I had to figure it out.
That's the question.
What was that, Danny?
I said, that's my commissions check. I got to figure that stuff out.
Right.
You got to work around the objections.
Yeah, so when Danny and I started our call, she goes, I think I'm going to cry because I just figured out how much my commission check is going to be. Are you willing to share it?
Yeah, so this is after the struggle months of the summer, so my summer months, I had like maybe two $1,500, $1,600 paychecks, commissions checks. And then when I promoted to senior after implementing all this, it jumped to $5,200. And this month will be my highest ever commissions check, and I will be getting a $6,700 check on this week. So yes, very happy about that.
You get the 4-finger whistle for that. Yes. Wow, Danny, super exciting. So,
Holly did post a question.
Okay. Okay.
She wrote, for the weekly live training that is led by a different director, do you have a schedule in place with assigned directors and topics? Is it the same time and day each week?
So yes, it will be every Thursday at a specific time every week. And I kind of just talk to my directors and be like, okay, we need 2 leaders. Like I have a team chat and I just say, we need 2 leaders this week. This week's topic is bookings. Who out there is having super success this month with that? And then we kind of pick and choose, and I have a discussion with them tomorrow, and we're just going to lead the training and be like, what do you want to touch on? What do you want to touch on? And then I'll cover the rest. Because they are still up and coming leaders and they don't necessarily know how to lead a full training, but getting them in there and doing that's going to help them in the long run.
Great. Okay, you're getting lots of thank you. So, yes, thank you so much. So let me just share my screen. I just want to wrap us up here real quick. And all right, so, whoops. So our next webinar is November 19th at same time, same place. I know you guys talked about how do you strengthen directors. So that is the topic that we'll be sharing on that day. So these are just some things for you guys to think about, right? So the first thing you guys should be thinking about with what we just did this month is, do you need to adjust your recruiting goal? And my guess is most of you do. So you need to increase it because you just rocked out with this goal. Secondly, you want to stay focused on your goal of promoting at least 2 directors. I know some of you have already passed that, but that was one of the things that we told everybody, let's make sure this happens. Then I'm going to be posting a conversation question on our Facebook page of what you're going to implement. So you guys heard a lot of great things from Danny, and we want to know how you're going to implement one or more of these things. It doesn't have to be a bunch, but just figuring out how you can implement these systems. All right, you guys, so thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. It was so great to be with all of you, and we'll see you guys very soon, in a couple of weeks. All right, see you guys. Thanks so much. Thank you again, Danny. You were terrific.